Hello YouTube and welcome back to Old Flads. This is Castle Story, and after I asked you the question, did you want to see more? You said yes, and so here we are, and I'm pretty happy about that. Thank you very much for your input on that. It's great to see you guys actually interacting, and I really appreciate that, so thank you. So first off, we're going to go into a new game. We're going to go into survival, we're going to go into survival normal, and load in. Basically, this is a voxel based strategy game, I suppose is the best way of doing it. There's a sandbox mode where you can just sort of mine and collect stuff and then build big castles. There's no mobs in that. There is a day-night cycle though. And this, what we're doing today, is survival. Now in the top left-hand corner you see a countdown. That's when the next round of baddies are going to come. So we've only got 15 minutes, but you won't see all of that, don't worry about that. So survival, how are you gentlemen? This is survival mode. Your goal is to build a castle around your crystal and defend it against a wave of corruptrons. Each wave will be increasingly harder to defend against. Digging in the ground has been disabled. Instead you need to send your workers in the mines scattered around the islands. Now that's a bit of a taboo subject in England, so well, yeah, we're going to ignore it. Don't worry about that. We're going to put them in the mine anyway. You can create new brictrons in your home crystal by gathering blue crystal from the mine. Orange crystal, also found in the mines, is used to create torches to see at night as well as explosive barrels. What's the time on the top left of the screen? As I've already said, you have no chance to survive. Make your time. I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing it's a pretty dodgy translation. Okay, so as you can see, this is our starting little group. We have a warrior here called Croco, and he's done up to the nines in his various gear to protect us all. As you can see, he's got a shield and a helmet and a sword. Badass. The other brictrons here are our worker brictrons. Now, what you need to do when you first start off is collect some resources. So what we're going to do is we've got to build around our crystal. And that's what they're standing next to now. So you don't want to go too far. You also don't want to go too far away from with stockpiling, but I'll explain that in a second. So what we're going to do is collect some lumber first. Now, in order to do that, you need to hold the right mouse button. Now you need to click off any units you had, hold the right mouse button, and then hover over one of these four particular things you can do. So that's place block, which is essentially build. Cleaning task, which means that any bits that get spilt or bags that get dropped or loose wood, you can select a guy to go and clean that area and he'll just put it all in the stockpiles for you. Place structures, which is what we're going to be looking at in a minute, and also a lumber task. Now a lumber task is what gets you wood, essentially. It sets up an area that is going to, well, I'll show you, it'll be easier if I show you. So you just hover over that and then let go of the right mouse and then just plonk it near some trees. And you can see it comes up with a radius, and in this radius you will be the trees that will be cut down by that particular task. Now you need to assign a bricktron into this particular task so he can go and actually chop the wood down for you. So you left click on a bricktron. This one is called Dimon, and you right click on the task and he should wander off, go and find a tree and cut it down. Beautiful. Okay, but now trees need somewhere, once you've chopped them down, to be stacked, the logs that come from them. So you're going to need to make stockpiles. Before we do that, however, you need to start getting some stone ready. So nad, a nad in England is a bollock, so yeah, that's unfortunate. But these are what you need to do with nad is it would be quite funny if we had two of them. They'd be a pair of nads. Yeah. What you need to do is go to these predetermined mines. They are predetermined in survival mode, and just left click on the bricktron, right click on the mine. He'll wander off and he'll try and dig some stuff up. Now what we're trying to do is get stone for the moment, and then when we want to create more brictrons, we'll hopefully get some barrels out and hopefully collect some blue crystals. Okay, so what we've got to do now, as you can see, the wood is down, and it's actually stacked quite nicely, because usually in this game that just falls off the edge. That was also quite a lot from that one tree. So as you can see, he's got a log on his back. Everything is carried by the brictrons, and he needs somewhere to put it. So we're going to need to make some stockpiles. So we're going to get little Neko here. We'll plonk him over here. Left click to take him away. Then hold right click and then go to place structure. Now from place structure you release, and this will default at stockpiles. So these little stockpiles are where you're going to be storing all your gear. So that's logs and that's stone. You'll need those, so you don't want them too far away from firstly where your tasks are, and secondly where you want to do the building, because obviously these have to be picked up and carried over individually. Nothing is done by teleportation in this game, which is quite good, and it adds to the strategy of it. Okay, so from there you can see we've now got a row of 10 stockpiles. Now stockpiles need wood in order to work, so left click again on Neko and right right click on this task. What he'll do is then run over, grab a piece of wood, plonk it down, make a stockpile, and we can begin the task of placing all these blocks that have been made on top of our little stockpiles. Now these guys that are on the, firstly the lumberjack task and the mining task will auto try and place on a stockpile, and when they do, they'll just start loading up. Now you can get 4 logs on one stockpile, so you are going to need to make quite a few of these, and you also need to try and make sure, at the moment at least, that you do not make conflicting sort of processes to go through, because the game will bug out. It is a pretty buggy game. Okay, so now that we've got one spare Bricktron here, we are going to set him a task of helping to do the lumberjacking, I think, for the moment anyway. We just want to compile resources, and we'll do a little bit of building soon. Now building can be done, like the main blueprint can be done, whilst everyone else is busy at work. As you can see, they're all like toiling away, they all love it. Look, and he even runs back to his little mine, so keen, so eager, it's beautiful. Right, so to build, of course building is the main point of this game, right click and then move on to place block. Let go of the right mouse button, and then you'll be given this block interface. Now this block can be placed anywhere you want, and if you right click it will turn it through 90 degrees. So we're going to start building the blueprint for our little castle just through here, and then once we've got a castle sort of built out, you'll come back and I'll show you the blueprint. Okay, so we've set out the basic foundation for our little castle. This is going to be the bottom level. What we're going to need to do is build up a little bit, because as the waves progress, there's going to be more and more sort of baddies coming to try and kill our little Bricktrons who are helpless. Now the idea behind this crystal is that it serves as like the central point. It's like the ultimate shrine for the Bricktrons sort of thing, if you get what I mean. Now these two dudes, what are you up to? Have you finished your lumber task? I believe they have. They finished their lumber task. This dude was digging. Now what we're going to do is set him onto the task of building. Now what he's going to do is go and pick up the necessary blocks needed to create this little sort of layout that I've made here, and I don't quite know how I've managed to get it into the situation. Oh right, yes I do, sorry. Okay, yeah, and he'll just automatically start making blocks and building the ground sort of level for our castle. Now these dudes have finished their task of chopping wood, I guess. So what you need to do is go from here and set position. So you right click on that, hold down right click and hover over set position. This means I'm going to be able to move this lumberjack task, and I'm going to move it up to here. That area's got the most. Now you can reset the radius of the lumberjack tasks, that's cool, but they don't need to do that for the moment. There's plenty of trees in there, and we'll just move it a bit later. So now that we can see, he's just plonking down the various bits. There doesn't seem to be a particular order, which is a bit of a problem, but he'll just keep going anyway until they bring up the blueprint. So if I go to place block again, it will show you the blueprint for what I've made. I've made a block outside and then a wooden plank inner. You can't actually build through the crystal, so we're going to have to build up around that using columns. There's a little staircase here that will be made, and that will sort of just allow them, once the blocks have been placed down for a lower level, just to get up and start building again onto the second layer. In order to place blocks, you left click. If you want to change the block, you just hold right click, and this will give you stairs, half bricks, arch, planks and columns, and you need those to form scaffoldings for structures, because that will sort of keep everything up in the air whilst you're building it. Now we are down to the last 3 minutes before we actually get our first wave of enemies, so what I'm going to do is leave that here for now and bring you back into the next episode, where you're going to see what we're going to get attacked by. And it's pretty easy the first wave, so that's going to be fine, and then hopefully we'll also build a barrel in here, and that will get us some extra blue crystals and get us some more Bricktons to do our bidding. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this first one. I know it's been dragged out a little bit, but this is Castle Story. It's a lot of fun. It's a very tactical game, and you can make some very beautiful things as well. So I shall see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. I've been on Flads. Cheers and goodbye.